Hello, shiny Pitch Wars hopefuls. Today I want to talk to you about what TeamClaws are looking for in a mentee. So, basically, Pitch Wars is tough. It is tough to get in. It is tough to revise your manuscript. Sometimes the revisions that you ask for are huge. But as I've always said, Pitch Wars is exactly like a tiny little microcosm of the entire publishing industry. And so the hardness of revising for Pitch Wars is an exact reflection of what the hardness of the rest of your writing life is going to be. I know a lot of authors who have got really tight deadlines, sometimes much tighter than the 2 months that you get to revise your manuscript for Pitch Wars with their own editors. So basically, what we say we are looking for is nothing out of the norm to anybody who wants a professional career writing in the industry. And we would also say that maybe if you were writing, I don't know, I'm going to really generalize here, like literary fiction, where you're not writing one book a year, maybe, things might be different for you. But because Tomi and I are mentoring a very commercial genre, young adult, where the majority of writers are expected or encouraged to write a book a year, often contracted to write a book a year, or contracted to write a book every year for a trilogy or for a 2-book series, and they have to deliver the next one with a year's deadline. The types of deadlines that Pitch Wars is giving you is actually not unusual at all. So when we say that we're looking for someone who is hardworking, it's because you will need to be hardworking in this industry. We are definitely looking for a mentee who is open to suggestions and revision. When we say that, that doesn't at all mean that we are going to change your book completely and it's not going to resemble what you love about it the most anymore, and you have to say yes to everything we suggest. Not at all. But what we are saying is that there are a lot of mentees, including us, who received edit letters either from our mentors last year, from our editors now that we have book deals, from our agents when we signed with them, who were asked to do huge edits and completely change aspects of the novel, either rewrite chunks. I've heard of some people having to rewrite the whole book because they had to change the point of view that it was in. I've heard of people like myself having to remove huge characters. There can be all sorts of edits. And of course, at the end of the day, when it comes to edits, you shouldn't say yes blindly. You should say yes to an edit if it resounds with you. And often it can be difficult because it's your work, it's your baby, you love it so much. When someone says to cut such a major thing or to change a major thing, we can often meet resistance in ourselves and say, no, I don't want to do that. And so that's where the advice comes in, to let it sit for a while. Don't answer straight away like, no, how dare you come at my baby and try and cut it into little pieces. You don't know my life. Breathe. And then maybe go back to the person that you're working with, your editor or mentor, and say to them, what is it? Why is the reason you want to cut this? Is it the reason that they want to cut it or they want to change things could lead to a different type of edit? Or you can be like me last year, where everything your mentors say, you're like, you know what, that completely resounds with me, and just do every single change that they suggest. So what we're trying to say through this is that we are looking for people who are open to critique and to revision suggestions. We are not looking for a mentee who actually is just trying to get into this competition for the agent round and is just trying to sail through, doesn't really want to make that many changes to their book, isn't really open to hearing our opinion. If we suggest something that they're not entirely convinced about, that they're just going to say no automatically and not even consider it. That is not the type of mentee we're looking for, because that is not the type of author that editors and agents want to work with. And you will find that out very quickly in the industry if you manage to progress with your career. So, as we said, at the end of the day, the book is your book, and you are the one that approves changes. You are not obliged to do anything that your mentors suggest to you. And we have no problem with people pushing back or saying, why do you want to make that change? Or I don't agree with that. Can we discuss why you think that needs to change? Can we talk about other ways that we could achieve that change that you feel? Or just very simply, I think that would destroy the soul of my book and I don't really want to do that. Nonetheless, we want a mentee who is going to work really hard. We had mentees in our group last year, Tomi and I, who gave birth and rewrote their entire book. Gave birth to babies. that don't sleep. Well, I think they sleep a lot when they come out. I don't know. I haven't had one yet, so, I'm not going there. But still, mentees who are ready to work long hours, if you have a demanding day job and several children and a million trillion other things, and you know that you have too much on your plate for whatever reason, that's not to say that if you have a day job and children, there's any sort of problem. Most of the mentees in our group had day jobs. I think over half of them had kids and all sorts of other things going on, and yet they still managed to revise because they just found the time, and sometimes it was finding tiny little chunks of time to crack away at it. It's about a willingness to work. It's about a willingness to find time. It's about a willingness to hear revision suggestions. It's about a willingness to say, I've written this book and I love it, and I want it to be the best it can be. Help me to get it there. Not just, I'm in this competition so I can get an agent, and that's about it, and you guys are okay, and I'm just using you to get there, and that's how it goes. We are going to be checking the social media of all of the mentees that are on our shortlist, because we don't want to end up with a mentee who could be in any way, I don't know, problematic is a big word. What we're trying to say is that we want to find a mentee who is professional, gracious, kind, encouraging, enthusiastic. Now look, that doesn't mean you need to be all like, rah, 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 I love everybody all the time, have kittens. All we're saying is we don't want anyone who's completely cray-cray, no. Nor do we want people who are going to be divas, or people who are going to end up going on a rant about other people in the industry, including their colleagues, agents, editors, whatever, because Tomi and I want to help writers to move forward in the industry and get the same chances that we were given through Pitch Wars last year. And we don't want to waste that help and our time and our energy and our passion on anyone who is going to then sabotage their own career. So when I say we're going to be like looking at your social media and that sort of thing, please don't worry. Like, I am sure that 99.9% of you have nothing to worry about. Please don't go through and say, oh no, I said this negative thing once and it could be misconstrued and people might think that I'm absolutely crazy. Fret not. We want to see you just be yourselves, and we just want to be able to know, like in a job interview, except like way less intense, because you're totally allowed to do all the things that you might not be able to. Job interview is a really bad example. Forget that I said job interview. This is not a job interview at all. We want to be your writing buddy friends, helping people, building careers, pitch wars. Yay! So, what else are TeamClaws looking for in a mentee? You don't have to have a sense of humor, though a sense of humor is great. You don't have to be from a particular country. You don't have to fit into any sort of criteria except that we love your book and you are ready to work hard with us to make it amazing. I think that's it. I actually can't think of anything else. If I think of anything else, I will make a second video. Okay? May the odds be ever in your favor, guys.